Welcome back to another 7 Deadly Sins origin video. Today we're going to just be giving you some tips on the pet expedition. There are obviously certain ways that you kind of want to do this. Just some tips. Again, every account's going to be different based on what you need, but you can obviously tremendously help your account if you know exactly how to do this pet expedition. I'm not going to waste your time. Let's get straight into it. So the main question you need to ask yourself is, how much are you willing to farm in a day? If you're absolutely just sick of the grind at all, you don't want to do any of it, then you'll want to go in here and send out like all your characters to do your platinum, which there's obviously specific ones you can do, and I made a video about that. But there are obviously tips with that. If you are willing to do your platinum, which will take you about 4 to 5 minutes, like if you're not just totally burned out, then you can obviously save those characters, right? And then you could send them out to do something else, right? So like you can see here, that kangaroo I could send out here, and it would still give me, it'd give me 8 of the butterflies, right? So some of these characters are tied specifically to certain things, so that's something you want to look at, right? Again, platinum is one of the most important resources, so that's what you want to get every day. But if you're totally burned out, then send your pets out. But if you can afford to go out and grind that, it'll take you about 4 to 5 minutes. That's a way to save some of your pets back to do other things. The next question is, okay, you're willing to go out and farm a little bit, right? What are you not willing to farm? Something for me is tree sap. Like, I am not ever going to farm tree sap, period. This also only takes the like common characters, right? It's just the most basic characters. So tree sap for me is always a lock. I'm going to always send out tree sap because you're going to always need it. Iron ore is another one, right? You don't need iron ore, but you need flint. You're going to need a lot of flint, especially if you're crafting the higher game items, right? We can just simply pull up our bench right here, or we can swing at a person not playing. So like Remnant of Rifts, right? Needles, scissors, like you can see, I mean, this takes 100 if you want to craft your scissors, right? What is Polish? It's flint. If you're doing like me and you're trying to catch up on the pets, you're trying to make a lot of pets, you need refined glass. Guess what? That's going to take you flint. So just stuff like that. You need to look at your account and identify what you need. And flint is going to be one that you're probably going to want to send out these common characters because you're going to be able to send them out easily and you're going to be able to get a lot of flint quickly instead of running around and hitting just random rocks all day to try to get that flint that way. Another way to make your account a lot more powerful is making sure you're doing like your ruby ore, and there's obviously a bunch of specific different ones. And these are really annoying and these are usually really spread out. So highly would recommend doing these. If you want to manually grind them out, you can. Again, I can't be bothered, and that's going to go the same with these items down here. All of these items are what allow you to make the special beads. So getting these farmed will allow you to basically, you're going to get your account more powerful because the more beads that you can make, you'll be able to get more perfect rolls. So for example, if I wanted to get my Escanor, right, we saw the ruby's right here, and then obviously these are the little small items that you can send out. So, stuff like that will just simply make your account stronger as you're going. Another thing is identifying what you're trying to do. I am trying to build a lot of potions to catch creatures to where I can obviously send out more to farm. Flower Petal of Pure Love is going to require you to do that to make the potions. So therefore, for me, I'm going to send out all these blue ones here to make sure that I'm guaranteed to get these flowers because I can't be bothered. Now, certain items are easier to farm, and I think the petal might be one of them. Let me check really quick. I think this one's grouped up a little bit easier. So yeah, for me, I look Flower Petal of Pure Love, and Leonis is over here. There's nothing like super close to it. I can't be bothered. I'm chilling on that. So that's basically how I look at it. Try to save yourself as much annoyance as you can. Try to save yourself as much time and just farm what you're willing to farm and don't farm what you're not willing to farm. Something like butterflies, right? You're going to need these. Well, I'm not going to send anything out for butterflies because there are these areas over here from the story where if you actually look at these areas, you can get 16 butterflies and all these items again, right? But this is in a super, super tight area. So if you are willing to farm a little bit, it doesn't take you very long because these areas are very small. Same with the sealed domain. Obviously, you've played the story, you know this game. These areas are not very big. So certain items over here, if you only need a few of them, you could just come over here and do these. Like if you only wanted a few of the orb items, the beads, not orbs, then you could just come get them here and then you could save your pets for other things. So you just really want to make sure you're optimizing your pets. Again, it's all based on what you're willing to farm and what you're not willing to farm. But these little small areas are easy ways to farm some of these items, and maybe you don't want to send your pets out. So again, emerald ore for me is one that I would not be willing to farm, so I would send out these pets here. And remember, when I send these pets out, I will not be able to do my platinum, which means I am locking myself into my platinum, so just pay attention to that. As soon as I do this, like this thing's gone, I will no longer be able to do my platinum. You come back over here. Okay, Garu's already somewhere else, right? So that's all you want to pay attention to. Know what you're willing to farm and know what you're not willing to farm. And like I said, another thing you can do, like Furzin, right? You see these flower petals. I told you I need these flower petal. I'm going to click gathering and I'm going to see, is this close? So see flower petals of Scream. I clicked on it. I looked. Okay, yeah, this is super easy to farm. Why would I send out my characters for this, right? I can get right in here, instantly farm it. Even though I needed a lot, right? You can see So you can see I tracked it. It's literally right here. It's 39 meters. So like basically if you're willing to move at all, you can instantly get here and not send your pets out for this and just do it yourself. And it's just that simple, right? The next one's right over here. So again, this will take me 30 seconds if that, versus sending out my pets to basically waste them when I could use them somewhere else, right? And you can see, even though it's the last one in this area, it's literally right off the top of this one. And you can see, boom, it's 40 meters away. So just check the items and see which ones are super close, because why would you send out your pets when you can do this in, 10 seconds? But essentially the easy formula is figure out what you're willing to grind, figure out what items are close to what areas, right? You can just go to all these areas, just like what you're needing. Obviously, I'm not saying go look at every item, but what you're needing, right? If you're needing the petals up here, maybe you teleport over here and see if they're close to the areas like they were just for the one I just showed you. And then maybe you can just do it super quickly like that. Otherwise, that's where you want to send your pets out. Like I said, stuff like butterflies, if you just need a few of those, you could just go to these smaller areas and do it instead of sending your pets out. So this will just let you optimize your pets, and hopefully you'll be able to make, the right decisions to where you're getting the value you need for your pets. Again, it's not a super complicated system. I just wanted to give you a few tips. Like I said, prioritize what you need, prioritize what you're willing to grind. And then if you're not willing to grind anything, do your platinums, do your important stuff. If you are willing to grind out a little bit, just figure out which items are close to teleports and spawns, and then send the pets out for the other ones. Again, the most important thing I think is going to be these ores, these ruby ores, because a lot of times they're not close, right? Emerald ore and all these are getting your account stronger. Sapphire, right? So all those, that's a focus for me specifically, at least. So something to think about for that perspective as well. And again, like the small items like flint, tree sap, just get those annoying items out of the way that way too, because it takes the common pets. Super short video. We will catch y'all in the next one.